Yeah, I guess I'll do the intro. Ugh, gotta get that radio
In 3.
voice. Do I go when you point?
So few people get that reference, and I work in a station and count things down, and no one ever appreciates it.
I love when they're watching. I mean, they're going.
Best part of a great movie.
My favorite line from that movie is, "Are you afraid of me? No. Do you want to be?"
I got a gun. Let's go to a Broadway show.
All right, can we bring in the blue screen? Let's try one. Ready to cue Wayne and Garth, and go.
Okay. In 5, 4, 3.
Good, Terry. Wayne, Garth, don't count along. We see your mouths moving. Again.
In 5, 4, 3.
Guys, you're naughty. Once again, Terry.
In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Anyways, hello and welcome to the 5th episode of the Shameless Picture Show podcast. I'm your host, Michael Viers, and with me, always and forever, is my co-host,
Nick Richards. I'm getting better at that.
Yeah, you are. Before we introduce this episode's topic, we'd like to take a moment to apologize to all of our dear listeners, especially the ones in Canada and Virginia, because we know you're out there.
That has just thrilled us to no end that someone other than my mom is listening to this.
We've gone international.
Woo!
Woo! I think that might have peaked. Anyways,
Fix it in post.
I'm going to be the one doing that, so yes. Anyways, we would like to apologize because everyone who listens to our show was forced to listen to just me talk and ramble about like 15 movies that I thought were dope in 2016. I've re-listened back to that episode, and I feel like at the end I listened to it and I listened to the quality of my voice, and I feel like I'm getting really emotional about like what this podcast means to us. I could just hear it in my voice. And then also there's a point at the 12-minute mark where a scene from The Exorcist plays out in its entirety. And I've not figured that out yet because it's in the original raw track. The house was completely silent. And the program I record in is not the one I edit in. So the file is nowhere in this program. But there is a scene from The Exorcist where Chris asks Karis how to perform an exorcism.
It's Pazuzu possessing your software.
I think so. I was trying to mix Pazuzu and possessed, and I kept thinking like pizzazz, but it didn't work, so I didn't go with that joke. So yeah, we'd like to apologize.
So here's what happened.
I don't know what happened. I went to go edit the episode. I heard all of my audio, and I just heard clicking on Nick's track, and it just didn't record.
I saw levels. We went through the whole thing. I felt good about it. Hit export, and then he's like, "So yeah, you want to send me a track with stuff in it?" I'm like, "No," clearly because I don't have that option apparently. But I'm seeing levels now, so this is kind of take 2, and as a result, we're going to do our best to not, if we tell the same jokes and anecdotes, we'll try and make it fresh, and when it isn't, we'll just make fun of ourselves, so maybe that'll be fun for you to listen to.
Yeah, and I honestly thought, just as a joke, that no one else would get to release release my single track of audio without Nick's, just to make it weird and confusing, but I thought no one else but me would find that funny.
We're really doing this to entertain ourselves. So that'll be once we release like season 1, because we're so huge and famous. We'll include that as like extra content.
Craig Ferguson one time said when he was hosting late night that the key to comedy is make yourself laugh first. Anyone else is just gravy.
Right. Yep. Couldn't agree with that more.
There's be times on the show he'd be the only one laughing, and that worked out well for him.
Right. So he's got that going for him.
Yeah, I guess he totally does. So yeah, we'd like to apologize for that. We'd also like to thank some awesome bands. Intro song called Superhero Theme, because we think so highly of ourselves, was done by a local Milwaukee, Wisconsin band called The Directionals, which is a bunch of cool dudes. I shot a music video for them. They played my wedding, made me cry. Good shit.
And our end track is some friends of mine. The group is 10 Speed, Isaac Pierce, and on drums, Nick Alvarez. And I met them as a band formally while I was shooting my first feature film and looking for soundtrack music. But I got connected with them because Nick, the drummer, not Nick the me, but Nick the drummer, make yourself laugh first, right? His mom babysat me when I was a kid, and my only recollection of being babysat by that family is that they had the most amazing collection of Masters of the Universe on the planet, and going over there was like being in action figure heaven. And they also made good music.
That's awesome. Would this feature film you speak about, would it be called Normal?
It is not. That is actually my second feature film.
No. I'm trying to keep a track record going where I mention your film every episode. A movie that, unless they go to your website and buy it, people can't see.
Nope.
You should get that shit on Amazon.
They can go to normal.vhx.tv, I believe. Or you can find it from the website, normalfilm.com. And it's a pay what you want to watch it digitally. I think it's a minimum of $1. I would have made it free, but that was their minimum. So check it out. Give me $1, and maybe you'll laugh. I still laugh at a couple of scenes when I watch it. So again, that's like my litmus test of whether or not I was successful with it.
Yeah. Plus, Nick just bought a house. He needs those dollars, people.
Please, I'm so poor.
He sunk everything into his house. But anyways, so that's what happened last week. Couple weeks ago. But no, on today's episode, we are crossing a movie off my shame list that happens to be one of Nick's favorites, The Phantom Tollbooth. The film tells the story of a young boy named Milo that one day finds a mysterious toll booth and car in his bedroom. Bored and with nothing better to do, Milo decides to hop in the car and head on a magical adventure to reach the castle in the air. On the way, he meets an assortment of zany characters and learns a little something about the fun of education. The film, directed by Chuck Jones, Abe Levitow, and Dave Monahan, is based on a beloved book by Norton Juster.
Follow Butch Patrick on a fantastic trip through the Phantom Tollbooth, where nothing is real but your imagination. To Dictionopolis, where words are weird.
Words in a word are fantastic. You can hint them, you can say them, you can print them, you can pray them, emphasize them, and despise them.
Digitopolis, where figures are freaky.
Numbers can be added to, subtracted from, divided into, multiplied by, crossed out, and erased.
Climb the mountains of ignorance, where dreams become nightmares.
We have nothing to worry about.
And the monsters are magnificent.
It's the gelatinous giant.
Pass through the Phantom Tollbooth and into the magic world of your mind. Rated G.
Before we actually get into what we thought about the episode, I'm really amused. One of my best friends, Kyle Arpke, I'm calling him out by name. We were talking about this podcast, and I was telling him about what the whole conceit of it is and what we're trying to do with it. And I was like, yeah, and our episode for the Phantom Tollbooth was Lost. And I started explaining the film to him, and he goes, "Why'd you record about that?" I was like, oh, because it was Nick picked it and going on about the. I'm re-explaining the shame list, and he's like, but would that be on? What's shame list worthy about that movie? And I'm thinking, oh, Nick wouldn't like to hear that. So
how dare you, sir?
And I was like, it's one of Nick's favorites. So it's because it's one of his favorites. It's shame list worthy. God damn it.
What's his name? What's his first name?
Kyle. RP.
Kyle, look here, Mister. I can like whatever I like. I don't need your whatever the word is to make myself feel better about my awesomeness. Please like me.
Next week in the podcast, Nick and Kyle are going to be arguing about the Phantom Tollbooth.
Based on your intro, how great it is that you watch any given movie and there's this chunk of exposition on how your protagonist gets into this harrowing experience, and this one is. He had nothing better to do. Pure boredom.
He really didn't. He was sitting on the phone with his friend. What was his buddy's name?
Hold on.
Because he has a great line about him at the end of the movie. Where he's just kind of, oh, God, I can't remember. Anyways, he's on the phone with one of his buddies, and he's just so lethargic. When he's at school, he's bored. When he's at home, he's bored. And he's like, okay, here's this weird toll booth, which he doesn't actually ever have to pay a toll. I'm going to throw that out there. He never pays a toll.
It wasn't his money. A coin did pop out of a little tray in the car. So, the toll was provided by the toll booth itself.
That's a terrible commerce system.
How are you going to make any money? How are you going to maintain the road that goes to Ditchinopolis?
Yeah, that's why it took him so long. If they would actually charge people money, I feel like they'd build an expressway, and this
right around the doldrums.
Yeah, this movie could have been 20 minutes. But
Ralph.
anyways,
Ralph is the name of his friend.
Oh, you're right, Ralph.
Ralph. Are you?
So, as we said in our intro, we've recorded this episode once, and a big part of what made this podcast so special to us was it was kind of cool to hear the other person's opinion on a movie that we've seen before or what have you. But in this case, Nick knows what I think. So, how do you want to start this off, Nick?
I guess we'll try and stay true to form in that I think getting your initial impressions, even though I know what you think, our dear listening audience does not.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and I feel like I'll admit I feel like I was a little hard on this movie last time. But
and Kyle, man,
none of you will ever know what I had to say about this movie. Looking back at it, it's I don't remember what I necessarily said last time. I remember saying that it had a slow beginning, and that's what kind of took me out of the movie a bit. Looking back at it, I think I enjoyed the movie more than I did during my original sitting. I didn't really rewatch a whole lot of it. I rewatched a couple scenes, but I think I enjoyed the movie more than I originally thought. However, I will say the beginning is still rather meandering. It takes a little bit for it to finally get its pacing. Because once you get to the middle of the film, I think it just keeps moving, and there's zany characters. There's a lot going on. The art direction is fucking awesome. The couple songs they have were kind of cute. Had a good message. But yes, it's the beginning that kind of lost me, and I will say, after much deliberation, I found the root of my biggest problem with this film.
Ooh.
The film lacks any sort of emotion. The story is there, but I didn't feel anything. I didn't care if Milo got to the castle in the air. I didn't care if the princesses of Rhyme and Reason were freed. I love dogs, but I didn't care about if Talk did anything. It's Chuck Jones didn't make me care about Milo the way that you care about Milo.
I support your thesis.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
No, I can totally see that being true.
Podcast over.
Done. We solved film and stories.
Solved it. That's it.
Last time we recorded, I think your main sentiment was that it wasn't what you expected.
Yes.
And so that was kind of your what was tripping you up.
Yes.
And I'll throw this at you just to kind of ruminate.
Throw it.
If you think about Milo's journey, the beginning has to be like dishwater dull, because his life was that dull. If you had all that zaniness in the beginning, then what's he have to be bored with? So that's part of his journey.
That's
Now,
fair.
It doesn't make for 15 minutes of, like jumping right in and getting excited about the film, but in terms of representing the mood of the protagonist, it's appropriate.
I love the way you said it, though. I'm trying to think of the exact way, what amused me about it, but like, the movie's dull because his life is dull.
Oh, it's so, like, when I sit down to watch a movie and I'm like, I want to just be bored out of my mind for an hour and a half, I pick up the Phantom Tollbooth.
Good old Butch
No, that's
Patrick.
not true.
Good old Butch Patrick leading that movie. And I mentioned last episode, this is the second time that we have mentioned Butch Patrick on this show, so this is just quickly becoming the Butch Patrick Picture Show podcast. Wow, that's even harder to say.
I think, like, the Butch Patrick reference needs to be like the Where's Waldo of our show, where, you get a prize if you find where we snuck Butch Patrick into the conversation.
I'm gonna have to go out and buy his autobiography, Butch on Butch, just so I can. That's a made up title. I just thought I wanted to see if I can get a reaction out of you.
I wanted so bad for that to be true.
Butch on Butch, the Butch Patrick story. I don't even know if he has an autobiography, but if he does, I should read it.
You're about to find out.
Yep. But yeah, after thinking about this movie for a couple weeks, I think that's my biggest problem is I didn't feel anything. Because like even when Milo was in danger, it didn't really seem like the Lethargians. It's like, oh, I'm gonna get really tired, and I know they're gonna eventually turn him into a Lethargian, but it didn't have this sense of danger. Like say like something like Alice in Wonderland, which I think is like a movie in the same spirit of the Phantom Tollbooth. The things in Alice in Wonderland seem legitimately dangerous.
And I guess maybe the next place to go from here, since we've already established that it's one of my favorite movies, and I just got done agreeing with you that it lacks something that arguably every story needs to have. I should explain why I love the movie so much.
And why you named your son after the lead character.
I did. I named my son Milo. I'm really into literature. Kids' books have a special place in my heart, and I'm also a big fan of Alice in Wonderland, which, as you said, is very similar journey about somebody who's out of place in the real world, going through a change in, this kind of young child to either older child or adult, this adolescence shift. And they need to escape to this world where everything's upside down in order to figure out their place in the real world.
Wow, you put that very nicely.
Oh, thank you. In a way, it tests their boundaries, like, how crazy is too crazy, in order to pull themselves back to say, okay, well, I'm not going to necessarily put on a suit and tie and be an accountant, but I also don't necessarily, like, now I see the other side of crazy.
But I don't want to go among mad people.
Oh, you can't help that. Everyone's mad here. You may have noticed that I'm not all there myself. And the morals out.
Goodness. If the people here are like that, I must try not to upset them.
So, my history with this movie, I I was probably in middle school when I first saw it. And my mom ran a daycare out of the house, so we had kids in the house every day that would come and jump in my bed at ungodly hours of the morning and wake me up.
Bastards.
Yeah. And there was a pharmacy chain called Farmore, which was going out of business.
I forgot
can't
about
imagine
Farmore.
why. See, well, this won't be just boring for us. We'll remember all of the things that we talked about last time.
Oh, I made a
It'll
really
bring
dumb.
us
I made
joy.
a really bad joke about Farmore. Farmore Savings. I think that was my dumb
Yep.
joke.
I'm almost positive that was their, if not verbatim, then very close to it. Their catchphrase. Their
If it
slogan.
wasn't, that's why they went out of business.
Right, because they're stupid and they miss obvious things.
Yeah.
So we went to this going out of business sale. There, like, things were dramatically slashed. Everything had to go, like 70-80% off. And my mom thought, this was back in the days when pharmacies and grocery stores had the little corner video rental place, because that was a
yes.
thing that used to happen.
I missed that.
So she went and we got like Puff the Magic Dragon, which is another amazing animated film from that era.
I've seen it, but it hasn't been since I was a child, and I just remember thinking, what the fuck did I watch? It's very similar to how I felt about this one.
Take care of him, Jackie.
He's so much bigger than I am.
Use your wits, Jackie. You can do it.
Well, little boy, what are your last words?
Well, very long, sir. Can you bake a cherry pie very long, very long? Can you bake a cherry pie very long, John?
I can bake a cherry pie quick as a cat can wink its eye. Pumpkin peach and a half a dozen others.
I don't believe you.
So we picked up Puff the Magic Dragon, NES game that I absolutely loved called Chrysalis, and this, the Phantom Tollbooth. Brought it home, and like I ended up kind of like stealing it from the kids that my mom babysat, and it became mine. I think,
As you do.
yes, I like to steal from children, push them over and take their candy. I think I really related to Milo, both as a kid and even still looking back. I was bored in school, but I was, because I was smart, not because I was lost. And I don't want to sound braggadocious. I'm not a genius by any means.
You
but,
did just throw down braggadocious in a sentence very fucking casually.
Yeah, that's stupid English major. But I got what the teacher was explaining the first time. So when she was explaining it the fifth and sixth time, I didn't care. So I would doodle in my notebook and ace the tests. And like my teacher in the parent-teacher conferences, they'd be like, well, I mean, he's always distracted and never pays attention, but apparently he's getting it, so I don't know what to do with him. So I really related to Milo, as I did Alice. And then the idea of going off into this magical world where not only do you get the zaniness and, as you mentioned, the beautiful art that builds as the movie goes on. Like right off the bat, once he goes through that toll booth, and we should mention for those that haven't seen it, the beginning and closing sequences are live action. So you actually get to see Butch Patrick.
Yep.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, it actually, I was kind of hoping those scenes were going to go on a little longer because one, it felt like it was shot on all the same backlot. Well, it probably was shot on backlots, but it had this like the Batman '60s TV show vibe to it,
Totally.
and also like the really clunky directing. Like I loved it. Like whenever Butch Patrick had to do something, he felt so stiff, probably because he wasn't given good direction.
Yeah,
and it's like, I could just keep watching this for a while. And then, the really great effect of them like showing him going half animation, half realist. I actually really loved that. I wish they would have played with that a little bit more.
And the music is great. It's that again the classic. Who do you know offhand who does the composing for Chuck Jones?
This movie, Music was by Dean Elliott for this movie, but
is that not the Looney Tunes?
I'm looking it up because it says. Granted, this is Wikipedia, so you know it's all 100% truth.
Right.
It says music by Dean Elliott, and if I click on his name, he says he was a film composer. Ooh, he did movies like Sex Kittens Go to College and the Las Vegas Hillbillies. And a record called Zounds. What Sounds?
We just hit the delicious, creamy nougat of the internet.
After this, Elliott went on to compose for a number of Dr. Seuss cartoons before joining Da Petit Frere Lang Enterprises in 1975 to commence work on their Return to the Planet of the Apes series, for which he provided incidental music. He also wrote all the music for the cult animated New Fantastic Four series before moving to Warner Brothers with Chuck Jones, where he provided all the music for Jones's Bugs Bunny Roadrunner movie in 1979. But also, all the songs were by two different people. The songs were by the music in the songs was by Lee Pockris, and the lyrics are by Norman Gimbel. Wait, Norman Gimbel. That name sounds familiar.
Dead air.
Dead air.
Phil.
Well, he is a very accomplished songwriter. He's in the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and he did songs for Dean fucking Martin. Not Dean Martin.
Nice.
Dean fucking Martin. It's his punk rock alter ego.
And so we a little bit of a tangent. Music's great, but yeah, that sequence where he actually enters the toll booth and becomes animated, and Milo realizes that he is animated and kind of drives back and forth and does kind of a Lucille Ball bit, but with himself, where he's kind of waving his arm in both reality and cartoon land.
I'm always amused by this. Like this and Pagemaster both use this technique of going from live action to cartoon. Well, granted, Pagemaster came out like some 30 years later, so I can effectively say it did it a little better. Macaulay Culkin in that movie has this line, "I'm a cartoon," and then they're like, "You're an illustration."
I'm a cartoon.
You are an illustration.
But I'm curious, like, how it looks to them. Like, is Milo seeing everything in 2D? Or, like, I don't know.
Right.
I have a hard time wrapping my mind around the fact that he's aware that he's a cartoon or an illustration.
I've lost so much weight. But so right off the bat, as soon as he goes through this toll booth, you get that great, it's immediately recognizable as the same beauty of Looney Tunes. This very simple, stark animation style. But as the film goes on, it gets more romantic. There's more
interesting,
almost lace-like overlays that drift down and turns it into a dream world. And the storyline plays a lot with, particularly when you go back to the source material and the original book, color and sound and composition versus chaos and all of these artistic concepts that Milo kind of explores along the way. And I think that's reflected in, as he gets deeper into this world, the visual representation of that world gets more dynamic, so that by the end, when he's actually in the castle in the air, which is this kind of crystalline, almost ethereal look to it, and there's just like prism lights and colors bouncing everywhere, and it's really stunning, and it's certainly something that imprinted on me at a young age. Then going back to what you said in the beginning, I can totally see the perspective that while this is a really cool journey that you're observing, you never really get inside Milo's head in the sense of actually caring about. You're an observer.
Yeah, and I guess that could also be what the source material is like. I've never read the book, so I don't know. But looking back at it, there's a lot to love about this film. Like you said, the visuals are gorgeous, but that's to be expected coming from Chuck Jones, who has made one of my favorite cartoons of all time. What's Up? Is it Doc? What's Opera?
Wabbit-wax. Kill the wabbit, kill the wabbit, kill the wabbit. Kill the wabbit.
It's one of my favorite cartoons of all time. What's not to love about having Butch Patrick, and the voice acting's all superbly done. And one thing, like, I think is super cool about the movie is it's a movie for nerds, like word nerds like yourself, and that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all, because it explores the beauty of knowledge. And
that was sounded like it should be on a billboard somewhere.
Probably.
It's that was something that we talked a lot about last time we recorded and haven't really hit on yet. But absolutely, I love puns. And
yeah, you do.
They're so punny. No, terrible. We came to the conclusion. Yeah, we came to the conclusion last time that like it's a one long dad joke.
Names. I must have your names before you can proceed.
Well, this is the humbug.
Humbug.
This is Talk.
Talk.
And my name is Milo. Now can we go?
Milo. Oh, I haven't had an M in ages. Now then, if you'll just tell me when you were born, where you were born, why you were born, how old you are, how old you were then, what grade you're in, your shoe size, shirt size, collar size, hat size, and the names and bank references of 6 people who can verify this information, then you can go.
What do you need all this for? We're in a hurry.
I'm the official census taker. I must have this information before I take your census.
It's so great. There's this bit when Milo gets to Ditchinopolis, which is an entire kingdom all about words. So to get there, he has to go through the word market, which is like a farmer's market, but instead of selling peaches and asparagus, they're all selling words. And he goes up to one, and he's like, I'll take these. And it's upholstery, flabbergast, some other crazy wacky word. And
ragamuffin.
Try these, sir.
And were you thinking of using all of them in the same sentence?
Why, yes, sir.
Well, I tell you what, lad. Why don't you just take a bag full of appies and goods to start with? Very useful for happy birthday, happy new year, happy days, and happy-go-lucky. Useful, too, for good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good riddance, and goodbye.
But then he's brought to the castle to meet King Azaz. And he says, you, my boy, they all sit down around a feast. You, my boy, as our guest, may speak first. So he stands up and starts to give a speech. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take this opportunity. And then the king cuts him off and says, all right, next. And everybody around the table, rather than giving a speech, gives their food order. And so then the servers come out and place it all around, and he opens his big metal lid, and under it is the words as a physical thing on the plate, your honor, ladies and gentlemen. And he's like, there's this moment of, well, what the hell is this? And he's like, well, of course you knew you'd have to eat your words. And this is 5 minutes all to build up to
one
just
joke.
You'd have to eat your words.
I was expecting to hear like a rim shot or something, like
right.
It's essentially like if like a comedian went up on stage and told a very elaborate knock knock joke.
Yeah, totally.
It's like the build up is not nearly as good as the punchline, but without it, the build up would be terrible.
Wrecked him, damn near killed him. You're welcome, Internet.
I don't know why that made me laugh like it did.
So, one of my favorites is Cacophonous A Discord.
Oh my God, that guy.
It's another like 5-7 minute bit of noise. He runs around breaking bottles and smashing things just to like he loves to explore terrible sounds.
Yeah.
I had a roommate like that. He was actually a really great musician, but made his like he was the real life Cacophonous A Discord. But then he has this pet that he like releases out of a bottle called the Awful Din. What? You've never heard of an awful din before? And it's a personification of like bad noise. So he feeds the awful din these noises.
That whole joke confused the shit out of me because like then Butch Patrick was like he like tried to explain it as if it's a phrase that people still use if they've ever
Right.
used.
Totally
And,
antiquated.
I'm amused though that the actress that played the awful din's name is Candy Candido.
What?
Candy Candido.
Here's to all my friends named
Oh my
Candy
God, it's a guy.
Candido. Yeah, I mean, I would be surprised. The voice is so gruff.
Ever hear an elephant tap dance on a tin roof late at night? That's noise. Beautiful noise.
Well, I saw the name Candy, so I was like, oh, let's assume that's a girl.
It's clearly a stripper.
Yeah, Candy Candido. He also played Maleficent's goon in Sleeping Beauty. And he was Shere Khan's roar in the Jungle Book. I don't know why that amuses me so much.
I like that they hired a voice actor for Shere Khan, but like, you know what? You're just not cutting it for the roar. Let's get Candy Candido in here. That guy can roar like a boss.
Tangent. I just need to tell this story. It has nothing to do with this movie, but it's amusing.
Go.
And I'm going to put the sound effects in for everyone who's listening so they can witness for themselves. One of my favorite stories was from The Lion King, was that the sounds of the lions are not actual lions roaring. They're tigers. Because lions have a really pathetic sounding roar. Like, if you listen to a lion roar, it does not have any menace behind it at all. It sounds really pathetic. So they mixed in the sound of tigers and Frank Welker growling into a garbage can. And there's a video of Frank Welker doing this. And when I read about this, I looked at a YouTube comment, and the guy's like, how pathetic is that? That some guy named Frank in a garbage can sounds more intimidating than a real lion.
Yeah, that was good.
Out of the characters, though, there's a couple of them were just their names were amazing. Like I still love the Weatherman and the faintly macabre the witch, essentially.
Yeah. Not to be confused with a weatherman and a witch.
Yeah.
Very different things.
Which witch? But my favorite joke in the entire movie is Talk, who is a watchdog, literally, because he's a watch. He's got a clock.
With a dog wrapped around it.
Yeah, he is a watchdog because he's a watch dog.
And all throughout, you know, it's a single pun, but they continue to play off of it the whole time. So there's a whole song and dance number about wasting time and how wonderful, it's bad enough wasting time, let alone killing it. And then he's always concerned about his mainspring breaking, because that's how a watchdog dies. And at the end, when they're fighting, all of the these terrible demons, his mainspring does break, and it's the closest thing to feeling anything that you get in the movie.
It doesn't work nearly as well as, say, like the horse. Was it the horse named Atreyu in Neverending Story? Atreyu dying.
Artax is the horse.
Oh, Atreyu was the Native American boy. Doesn't have that kind of weight behind it, but that's.
Artax, you're sinking.
Oh, but for 1970? I think it was technically made in like 68 or something, or
yeah.
Oh wait, no, it came out. It came out a while. Like, it was released in 1970, but it didn't get a lot of attention. Regardless, for the time and for being a MGM's first animated film, Like, they did what they could, and like like I said, while it's lacking in some of the things that like would have grabbed me, like there's so much to like about it that my original assessment, which I felt I was a little harsh on, it's improved. It's gone up. Well, I liked it better.
Something else that I've been ruminating on this idea that you brought up in the beginning about not feeling anything. But if you look at who is making this film, Chuck Jones is, think about all of the Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck stuff that we grew up on. Did you ever feel empathy for any of those characters? Were you ever like, when Daffy Duck gets shot in the face, it's not like you're concerned about him.
Yeah, never. I never once.
So it's an hour and a half of that.
No, that's a good point.
With much thicker concepts, which are, thanks to Norton Juster's incredible source material. But yeah, I'm not sure that Chuck Jones was thinking like that. That wasn't his process. I'd be interested on this point now to kind of go through his catalog and see if he ever reached a point where he was infusing more of that into his work.
I'd be curious about this too, and then that's kind of a great segue into talking about a little bit of Chuck Jones, this movie, and Norton Juster. Chuck Jones is a master filmmaker, to put like a master in animation. He animated for the Warner Brothers during their peak, like the 30s to the 50s, and is responsible for some of the most infamous Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Elmer Fudd cartoons of all fucking time. And
Rabbit Season Fire.
Best of my knowledge, I think he also created Tom and Jerry, which is a personal favorite of mine.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, when the Phantom Tollbooth was released in 1970, MGM was kind of not in a good place, and they were struggling to get decent bookings for movies. So the Phantom Tollbooth only played like at afternoon children's matinees, if at all, and it effectively killed Chuck Jones's career. And it's a shame because, like, think about it, in like a couple years, like Sesame Street comes on, and it's essentially the same shit. Like, how awesome is Education? Or like you got Schoolhouse Rock, which is also, a very similar thing, and those are remembered, heralded as classic. Hell, Sesame Street's still on, but no one I've never even heard of the Phantom Tollbooth until you told me about it, and I tried to do research on it, and I guess I'd like to talk about whether or not you think if you think Chuck Jones would have gotten more big high level projects, because he was still animating up until he died. If he would have gotten more projects, and how Norton Juster felt about the film, because he said he never liked it. He didn't think Chuck Jones did a good job, and the movie was well reviewed by critics, which also made him angry.
They're all wrong.
And granted, it's only 8 critics, but the film's got a 100% Rotten Tomatoes, so that's dope.
Right. No, but there's not a lot of people watching the Phantom Tollbooth and being like, "This is terrible."
What the hell?
So I actually hadn't heard. This was something that you brought up when we started discussing the film and doing it for the podcast. I didn't realize that there was that animosity as a result of the film, and that Norton Juster didn't like it. I love the book, and I love the film. And this is reminding me the last time we recorded this, we kind of started talking a lot about just reinterpretations of books specifically, but reinterpretations of anything in a film format, and how there's the classic trope of, oh, it's not as good as the book. You go and see a movie based on, oh, it wasn't as good as the book. And I've never felt that way coming out of a movie that was based on a book, because I accept that it has to be different because it's a different medium.
Yeah, you have to recreate the emotions or the vibes that you have to recreate like I said, the emotions of the book instead of like telling the story beat for beat exactly has how it happened.
Yeah, if you did that, it it would be very long, probably boring. It's a different delivery system. You cannot treat them the same way. To judge a film based on the story as you interpreted it when you read it just isn't fair, and I've never been a person who put that expectation on an adaptation. And it's also, something else I should mention is there actually is a bit of a shameless check for me on this episode, and that's the documentary that I've had since it was released and hadn't yet had a chance to watch, called Beyond Expectations. That is, it's about an hour long, and it's just like great interviews with Norton Juster and the illustrator whose name isn't clicking right now.
Yeah, I can find that out for you.
Let's see if
it is Jules Pfeiffer.
Yep. Who has an amazing illustration style.
It's actually very reminiscent of Dr. Seuss.
Yeah. And I also think that it's kind of a cleaned up version of Ralph Steadman. I think Ralph Steadman fans would really appreciate his art style.
Having a Ralph Steadman half sleeve, I can totally agree with that.
And I have a Jules Pfeiffer tattoo myself, so
yeah, so that worked out.
Wonder twin powers activate.
Form of bucket of water.
Amazing. If you don't love this podcast, you're wrong. So I finally, took the opportunity to watch this documentary, and what's interesting, based on the conversation we had about this animosity, they do not bring up the movie once. Never talk about it. Now, it could have just been that they wanted to focus on it. It was for the 50th anniversary of the release of the book. But it would certainly lend credence to this idea that he was not, that he doesn't consider it part of the canon.
I hope there's a deleted scene somewhere where like the interviewer is talking to Norton Juster and is like, so can you tell us about Chuck Jones? Chuck Jones? Fuck that guy.
Fuck Chuck Jones.
He just looks right at the camera. Fuck Chuck Jones. And the little rabbit he drew in on. That joke didn't work.
I took it for the spirit that it was intended for, and I thought it was hilarious.
Okay, great. So you've read the book, correct?
Yes.
You said that.
It's been a while, but I own 2 copies of it and have read it several times.
Okay, well, then I have some questions about that, if you don't mind. I'm curious if the book had more depth to it. And I only ask because, like, knowing, like, kind of what the book is like, and I imagine, and, like, how the movie turned out, I imagine there's things that they couldn't necessarily translate well into a visual medium. And then I'm also wondering if there's a difference in the ending. Because one reviewer said that the film's ending came too easily, and said those who read the book will remember how Milo had to solve the problem, because he said his problem was rhyme and reason. He didn't have to convince them of anything. They just fucking did what they had to do to fix the kingdom. So I'm curious, is there a different ending, or is this reviewer talking out of his ass?
I'm not recalling the ending well enough. I mean, the film is something that I watch at least once a year. Again, just, I love it, and it's easy to watch with my kids, and even before I had kids, it was something that I went out of my way to watch on a regular basis. The last time I read the book was probably 10, 12 years ago, so it's been a while. I can certainly, the counter I would say to that reviewer's statement is that, the rhyme and reason from the film perspective didn't really seem all that trapped. And I don't think that was the point. I think they were saving Milo. You know, they didn't need rescuing. Milo needed rescuing, and they sent for him just to get him on the right track. So once he got there, it's like, all right, you know, your princess is in this castle, and there you go. Milo achieved his goal.
Okay, that's actually an interesting way of putting it. What is that? Milo needed rescuing.
Yeah, and the princesses do say, you know, that's why we sent for you. So the princesses are the ones that sent the toll booth, and that's the only line that establishes that.
I'm gonna call shenanigans on that one, simply because why'd they send it to Ralph? Why'd they send the toll booth to Ralph? Why'd I have a bowl, Bart? Why'd I have the bowl?
Ralph, are you crazy, Ralph?
Milo, you wouldn't believe what just showed up in my bedroom.
Oh, boy.
He doesn't know what he's getting himself into.
In classic Quantum Leap form. But in terms of more depth, absolutely. But this is where I'll certainly forgive Chuck Jones because, you know, they had to structure it in more of a traditional film, you know, rising action, falling action format where much, again, like Alice in Wonderland, Phantom Tollbooth is more of this like episodic, okay, and then he experiences this crazy character with this circumstance and just ping pongs around a lot, which allows them to explore much more of these elements. The film really focuses on Ditchinopolis and Digitopolis and this feud that these brothers have between words and numbers. And they kind of put all of the weight of the problems of this world on that feud, where in the book it's much more broad. You have it explores sound much more than the movie does, and it explores color a lot more than the film does. It doesn't just put it on that divisiveness between the words and numbers.
Okay. No, that's interesting. Because like I was thinking about it, you know, not having read the book, but I'm fascinated. I don't know if it's an official subgenre of film or not, but I'm fascinated by the unadaptable books that people have said, oh, there's no way you can make that into a movie.
Oh, okay.
And then you've got, you know, of course, American Psycho, a movie that said no one could make into a movie. You've got Fight Club, another one people said you can never make this to a movie. Thank You for Smoking, another movie you could never make into a movie.
So good.
Thank You for Smoking. It's an amazing movie.
All three of those were great.
Phantom Tollbooth, I feel like not having read it, but I feel like had you not seen the movie, there's probably a chance that you could say there's no way they could do this.
Right.
So I'm going to change things up a little bit. We've never done this topic before.
Not even last time we recorded this episode.
No, never.
Going off the rails.
Say I'm a big time Hollywood producer. I come in. I just barge into your house right now for some fucking reason. Nick Richards, what are you doing in my house? Here's $30 million and the rights to the Phantom Tollbooth. I want you to make a big motion picture.
A talkie?
A talkie. We got a poster and a release date, kid. Get on it.
Thank you for putting your trust in me, sir.
And then he busts through another wall and leaves. You hear your son, Santa? Go back to sleep, little boy. So
and scene.
You're given $30 million by big rich guy Tex McRicherson, reoccurring character from now on.
My third cousin, incidentally.
Yeah. How would you do it? Like, would it still be part animation, part live action? Would you animate the whole thing? Would you make a live action? Like, what do you see? And you're not remaking the Phantom Tollbooth Chuck Jones. You are readapting Juster's novel. What would you do?
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory instead of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Exactly. How would you see this?
Oh, I'm so close to both of them. I don't think I'll have the right answer. The first thing that came to mind, and it has less to do with the material and much more to do with what I want to check off my filmmaker bucket list, is, God, I would love to do that as a stop motion animation.
Ooh, would it start live action and then become stop motion?
I would have a lot of sleepless nights deciding that, because my first instinct is yes, but am I doing it because it's a good idea for my film, or am I doing it because that's what I saw and loved growing up?
Because like in my mind, I found like passages from the book online, so I was perusing through it, and like I said, I think we talked about last episode how it had like this Alice in Wonderland style verbiage to it, and just the way that it tells the story, which I think is kind of cool. And in my mind, the only way to like faithfully adapt that novel is to make like a not hardcore, but make like an art film. It wouldn't be a kids film anymore. It would be like a Stanley Kubrick or Hodorowski art film about knowledge.
Yeah. Well,
like,
it's interesting that you say that, because in this documentary, Juster talked a lot about the pushback that he got writing this. It's a kid's book. It's a very thick kid's book with a lot of heavy concepts in it.
Yeah.
Yes, it's about the love of education, but most of these puns are going to be over some kids' heads, many kids' heads.
It was over my head. Some of them were over my head.
Right.
And I'm an adult.
So he had a very hard time, according to him, finding a publisher. And this was in the era when Dr. Seuss was, hot shit. And it was and Dr. Seuss was so loved in this time period and so prolific because it fit America's concept of it's Cold War. We need to be better than the Russians,
of course,
and so our children have to be as smart as our kids cannot fall behind, and the way that we're going to do that is by focusing on a very set vocabulary, and that's what Dr. Seuss did. Like, these 50 words, I'm going to tell every story possible with these 50 words, and the Phantom Tollbooth is the antithesis of that. Another big word. Antithesis. and he happened to find a publisher that believed in it and got it out there, and it found a dedicated audience, though small. But it reminded me of that when you were talking about how I wouldn't make a kids movie. I would make this cerebral, I mean, that's what he did. He made this very cerebral thing and said it's a kids book.
Yeah. Like, if I had to like list down the first director that comes to mind, and if I had to like pick someone like out of a hat, I actually wouldn't be out of the hat if it's from my mind. Whatever.
Unless you're wearing a hat on your mind.
Boop. The one name that comes to mind that I feel like this cat could adapt this movie to something really interesting would be Christopher Nolan.
Oh yeah, well, that man has a golden touch.
Yeah, like I'd pretty much like, okay, Christopher Nolan, make the Phantom Tollbooth into the Interstellar with words. I got you, fam.
Yeah. With his adorable British accent.
Yeah. Oh, and it has to have Tom Hardy in it, playing Milo.
Because everything. Tom Hardy as Milo.
Oh my God! I want to recut the Mad Max trailer. You already know my name. Oh my God! Mad Max as the Phantom Tollbooth. That's the new direction this book needs.
Yep.
Everyone talks in like iambic pentameter and crazy puns, and but they're saying it so aggressively.
and it's the land beyond is a desolate wasteland.
And instead of pulling on the lever to give everyone water, words come down. And Morton Joe is really King Azaz.
The war between words and numbers has left the land beyond in desolate wastes. Only one man, played by Tom Hardy, can save them all.
We'll just change it from the Phantom Toll Booth into Milo.
Right? Yeah.
Subtitle: and the Phantom Toll Booth. just so you can get the fans of Norton Juster. Norton Juster's dystopic novel, The Phantom Toll Booth. He's sitting somewhere like, when was it dystopic?
The producer that came crashing through my wall and gave me $1 billion said it was okay.
I love this picture.
So we've gotten a little off topic.
A little bit. That's how we're filling the time.
Hopefully it was an enjoyable tangent.
I do have to say, like, I had a lot of fun on this re-recording of this episode.
We should record every episode twice.
Just from now on, I'm just going to tell you I'm recording, and I'm not really going to be.
Oopsie.
But I guess before we end it, is there anything else that you want to talk about the Phantom Toll Booth, or things that we might have talked about last time that we didn't bring up that you feel are relevant?
A lot of what I remembered from last time were triggered by us beginning to talk about them this time, so I don't think we've missed anything, even though I'm sure we have.
No, like I feel like we touched on everything. We added some skits into this episode. We created some characters.
Learned some things.
Had some
better,
laughs.
Smarter. A little wiser.
It's been a wild ride. I guess that's it. So every time we record an episode, we talk about what's going to happen next, and something
and
always happens.
Never that.
It's never that, or it's like, oh, this is what we're going to record. This is what our next episode is going to be about, and like we'll release them in a weird order or something. But this time, goddamn it, we're finally going to do Buffy the Vampire Slayer. A compare and contrast episode between the
but
movie
wait,
and the pilot.
that's not all. Yep. Sorry, tremendous game show or notes infomercial bit. So this one is on my shame list. I have not seen the film. I've seen bits and pieces from the show, but not enough to really construct anything valuable. So we're going to watch the pilot of the TV show and the film and kind of see what they have to offer. And I will say I'm excited because Joss Whedon is, hot shit. I love him.
And I think I mentioned this last time that I'm also excited to have us watch the movie first. That's the order I recommend. I'd say movie first, then the pilot.
Okay.
Because Joss Whedon says how much he hates the movie and he wants nothing to do with it, and the TV show is supposed to be just characters and name only. It's nothing to do with the movie. But then they reference things that happened in the movie in the pilot episode. So
you're full of shit, Joss Whedon.
Pretty much. And I would probably get stoned by a lot of Joss Whedon fans, but I prefer the movie. One listener that we have named Emlyn, she's listened to every episode somehow.
Well, thank you. Hi, Emlyn.
And has a lot of nice things to say. She's written essays about Buffy the Vampire Slayer and loves the TV show. She tells me it gets really good around season 2 or 3. We'll have to take her word on that because I'm not getting that far. But I'm going to read some of her essays and bring her points in about what makes, in her mind, the TV show better than the movie.
Awesome.
So we're gonna get some literary action up in this bitch.
And we, as of our next episode, we'll have a 33.33% vampire saturation.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
No, I think that's a pretty damn good average. Before we go, do you want to mention our little side experiment with this show?
Yes.
Or should we keep that under wraps?
No, I'm excited about it, and I do want to talk about it. So I don't think we've mentioned it yet. If we
did, it's been deleted.
Right. My day job is I am the station manager of a public access television station here in Maryland. It's a lot of fun. I love my job, and it affords me a lot of creative opportunities. I'm sitting in a meeting with my bosses the other day, and we're talking about getting content for the station. And my boss, who I had no idea was even aware that I did a podcast, says, I understand why you haven't turned your podcast into a TV show. Sure, yeah, I can do that. So we are going to turn the Shameless Picture Show podcast into what the podcast will remain as is. That's something that will still go out the same way, but we will film ourselves. I'll start recording from the TV studio. I'm working out the technical side now, and that's really the only thing that we're waiting on. We will also be on, if you happen to be in Talbot County, Maryland, you can catch us on the public access, but we'll also put it up on YouTube so you can see our gorgeous faces while you listen to our gorgeous voices.
And you'll also, like, we're going to try to add some different things to the television version because, like, the cool thing about the podcast is me and Nick edit the show. We cut out all the ums and dead space. And anytime we have a technical difficulty, because those who didn't listen to the first episode, Nick lives in Maryland, I live in Wisconsin. We Skype this and record our own audio separately. So if Skype's acting weird like it did 3 times during this episode, there's a lot of emptiness. So we cut all that shit out. We make it sound good. I cut out all the ums or add more ums.
Depending on the mood.
I also add, the music and the trailers, and I'll add sound clips from other movies and try to make it fun. The people on those watching on television, I don't know how much of that they're going to get. We're still figuring out the editing process for that. So we're going to try to add some cool, like, little things. Maybe I'm going to try to come up with some games or little segments that we can play.
And you'll get a little bit more behind-the-scenes take on it. You'll hear us kind of warming up for the podcast show. We'll do, our normal bullshitting that you'll get to be a part of as we ramp up into the podcast side.
Yeah, we also might have to start watching our language. It's going to be in public access, but we'll just add bleeps in because that's fun.
It'll just air late at night.
But no, that's kind of the plan. We want to go from being podcast stars to also television stars,
specifically public access stars, Wayne's World style.
Yep, pretty much. And I don't think that's all I got.
Cool. So
party on, Nick.
Party on, Michael. We have to end it there.
Yeah. Cut.